realistically, we should cut ties with Israel. We should sanction Israel. And my point is, look, the amount of war crimes that have been... Look, UN has been investigating for many months. The war crimes have been committed. There's been mass rape. There's been...
Mass rape?
There are mass graves that have been found, right?
Yes, because in wartime they tend to dig mass graves when people die, yes?
Yeah, but the point is, Julia, we know, the whole world knows, so apart from, seems like TalkTV, but the whole world knows that there's mass killing of innocents taking place. Call it what you want. Even in Bosnia, when 8,000 Muslims were found in the mass grave, they counted that as a genocide.
Yeah, because that was the deliberate targeting of a people to kill a particular people. There isn't deliberate targeting of Palestinian civilians. There is a deliberate targeting of Hamas fighters who use Palestinian civilians as their human shields.
Julia, with all due respect, remember, if you recall, just over a year and a half ago, I forgot her name now, that little girl that was shot through the door. Remember that 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Cobell?
Yes.
Yes. Right now, was she a human shield? You're saying under the same principle, you're saying she was a human shield. That's the point.
A drug gang guy ran into a house to protect himself, and she got caught in the crossfire. I mean, that's not the same. I'm sorry, that's a ridiculous analogy to make. Khalid, here's the thing: Israeli forces weren't in Gaza on October the 7th last year. They wouldn't have gone into Gaza since if there hadn't been the mass... When you talk about mass rape and mass murder, that's what happened on October 7th, perpetrated by Hamas terrorists. What do you think Israel's reaction should have been, and what should it be now?
The point is, they brought this upon themselves.
They deserved it. Those women that were gang raped and tortured, they bloody asked for it, didn't they? By being Israeli. They asked for it, didn't they, Khalid?
You see, we know, for example...
Khalid, they did, didn't they? They asked for it, those Israeli women. When they were being gang raped with rifles and glass and are being tortured, they asked for it, didn't they?
All these things are being debunked.
No, they haven't been debunked. They've been well documented.
40 beheaded babies and...
That was debunked. That was a claim from one journalist. That was not true.
Yeah, but
don't go back about stuff. Are you saying that women weren't raped and tortured?
Even the president of USA stated this, Julia. This is ridiculous, coming from the top. So this is preposterous.
Yeah, but that's debunked. I'm not making that claim. Are you telling... I asked you the question. You said Israel had it coming. Did the Israeli women who were raped and tortured and murdered on October the 7th by Hamas, did they have it coming? Did they deserve it?
Decades of brutality, decades of imprisoning.
Answer the question, yes or no. Did they deserve it?
They did not deserve... Nobody deserves any violence or any rape or any ridiculous... Of course not.
But it was a legitimate act of war by Hamas.
There is no legitimacy for violence. There is no legitimacy for
There is always legitimacy for violence in self-defence.
If it's self-defence, if somebody comes into...
I thought it was self-defence by Hamas. Wasn't it?
My point is, they went in to take people because they've got thousands of innocent people locked up in the Israeli prisons, Julia.
Prisons.
And we know what's happening to them in the prisons.
Yes, well, there are lots of people held in prisons. There are people on remand, as we have in this country, people on remand awaiting trial. We also have people who've been convicted of very serious offences in Israeli prisons.
6-year-old children as well. Do we, Julia? Are you really?
We definitely have children held in institutions. Yes, we do in this country. Those
6-year-olds, 7-year-olds.
There are children. I don't know the exact specifics of who's held in Israeli
in prison.
They're not in prison, no, but there are children who are. There are young children.
My point is, Julia, Israel is counted by many organizations as a rape capital of the world. Even in their own society,
rape capital of the world.
There's 125 rape cases admitted every single day. 95% are thrown out. Only 5%
rape capital. I mean, again, I think you're just making this stuff up. There are a number of organisations that make a lot of claims about Israel, and most of those are not backed up by the facts. Khalid, you said these sanctions don't go far enough. You think we should...
Of course they don't.
So not sanctions, the licence limitation. You think we shouldn't be selling any arms to Israel, and you think we should sanction Israel. Why?
We should cut ties with Israel completely.
Why?
Because of the continuous, even in the West Bank, the continuous mass killing, the continuous Of course it is. They're killing. There's 150 babies have been killed since September. It's just in the West Bank, Julia. If I was a father or grandfather of one of these babies,
I don't approve of what's been happening in the West Bank. But again, the idea that it's mass killings. Do you think that we should also break all ties with Saudi Arabia?
Where there is human rights.
What about Qatar?
We are not complicit. We are not complicit with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, we are. Hold on a minute. Yeah, we are. We sell loads of weapons to Saudi Arabia. We sell loads of weapons to Qatar.
But we're not. They're not completely. We're not supplying them. We're not backing them with diplomacy.
We do. Yeah, we do. God, when the Saudi king died, they lowered flags in Westminster. You're not. Can we establish you care massively about children and innocent people, innocent adults who die in Gaza, but you really don't give two hoots about Yemeni children, Yemeni babies.
Of course,
who die. Well, you don't, because you think you're not saying we should cut off supplies of military and sanction Saudi Arabia. You're not bothered by that.
Where any innocent life in any country, even if it's Israel.
So we should cut off
Israel. So even if children's lives are being lost in any innocent child.
Well, the only children who've been dying in Israel at the hands of violent extremists is by Hamas on October the 7th.
This whole history is not just one day, Julia. You need to wake up and look at the history.
I'm aware of the history, yeah.
1948.
How's that history working out for the Palestinian people so far?
Sorry?
How's that history working out for the Palestinian people so far?
Well, the ones who have passed away and been killed, they've been martyred, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I mean, and do you think Hamas has any responsibility on their shoulders at all for using money that was supposed to go in to help the Palestinian people to buy weapons and make tunnels?
I believe in implementation of international law, where the international court has stated that Hamas individuals, as well as Netanyahu and other individuals, should be taken to The Hague. I believe they should.
They believe there are cause
for their deeds.
Yes, they believe there is cause for you. You don't think that a terrorist organisation holds more responsibility than a democratically elected prime minister?
Well, when you say they're a terrorist state, Julia, Israel is a terrorist state.
So Israel's a terrorist state.
No matter what you say, the whole world knows, apart from you and a few others, that Israel is a terrorist state, and they're backed up by America, and they should all be taken to The Hague. And they should be
everybody.
For war crimes.
Khalid, I'm going to put it to you, because I think everyone's thinking this, that your issue with Israel isn't about their actions.
Yes.
Your issue with Israel is because it's a Jewish state.
That's ridiculous. I've got Jewish friends here in Leicester as well.
Jewish friends,
Julia. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous. All my Jewish.
You just
friends
hold them to a higher account than any other nation.
This has been going on for decades, Julia. The point is, we're backing them to the hill. That's where the problem lies. Why you want to supply arms and backing diplomacy, etc. Continuous? You're backing a serial killer here.
They're now a serial killer. So they're genocidal. I can't keep up with all the things that Why don't you just call them paedophiles as well and just throw all the insults?
They are.
Oh, they are. There you go.
They are. It's been proven. It's been proven by the UN investigation. Look it up yourself. Don't just look at Israeli media. What Israeli media is saying.
Khalid, I think the best description of this interview is I gave you some rope and you hung yourself.
Call it what you want, but if you can't handle the truth, Julia, then you've got a problem. Seriously.
No, I don't think you'd know the truth if it came in. I don't think you'd know the truth if it came in across the fence and murdered you and raped your wife and tortured your children to death and then took hostages. I don't think you'd recognise it even if it did that. But there we are. Khalid is in Leicester. Thank you for that.